Guys, we really need to talk about something for a second because I see so many dog owners get this wrong. Imagine a ticking clock. From the moment you notice the very first symptom, you have exactly 60 minutes. In 1 hour, a perfectly healthy, happy dog playing in your living room can cross a medical point of no return. You don't have time to wait and see if they feel better in the morning. You don't have time to try a home remedy. You barely have time to find your car keys. I know that sounds terrifying. As a pet parent, hearing that there is a silent condition that strikes without warning is your ultimate fear. And I will be completely honest with you. It is also a veterinarian's absolute worst nightmare. We dread seeing this condition come through our emergency room doors. But fear comes from a lack of education. What if I told you that by learning exactly what to look for and changing just a few simple habits around your dog's food bowl tonight, you could drastically prevent this nightmare from ever happening to your best friend? Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Tony Lee, your neighborhood veterinarian. Today, we are having the most important conversation on this entire channel. We are talking about GDV, commonly known as canine bloat. In this video, completely free veterinary masterclass, I'm going to empower you. We are going to break down the exact biology of why a dog's stomach flips. We will cover the silent red flag symptoms that tell you to drop everything and drive to the ER. We are going to shatter decades-old internet myths about ice water and food bowls. And finally, I will give you my ultimate 7-step actionable prevention plan. So hit that subscribe button to join our educated community of protectors, and let's get started. Welcome to Chapter 1, the biology of the flip. Before you can prevent this condition, you have to understand the mechanics of what is actually happening inside your dog's body. The clinical medical term for this condition is Gastric Dilatation-Volvulus, or GDV. Let's break those words down. Gastric dilatation means the stomach is rapidly expanding like a balloon, filling up with excess gas, food, and air. Volvulus means twisting. To understand this simply, I want you to imagine your dog's stomach like a hammock swinging between two trees. Normally it rests comfortably in their abdomen, but during GDV, the stomach fills up with massive amounts of gas and air. It becomes heavy and incredibly bloated. Then, due to momentum or pressure, that hammock literally swings and flips completely upside down, twisting itself shut at both ends. The moment that stomach flips, it seals itself. The gas cannot escape. The dog cannot burp and they cannot vomit. But it gets much, much worse. The mechanical twist acts like a tourniquet. It completely traps the gas and instantly cuts off the blood supply to the stomach tissue and the surrounding vital organs, including the spleen. Blood cannot return to the heart, sending the dog into massive systemic shock. Tissue begins to die, and the pressure builds until the stomach essentially ruptures. Without immediate, massive surgical intervention to untwist that stomach, it can kill a dog in a matter of hours. While this can happen to any dog, it is most common in large, deep-chested breeds. If you own a Great Dane, a German Shepherd, a Standard Poodle, a Boxer, a Doberman, or an Irish Setter, you must pay absolute attention to the rest of this video. Because for your dogs, the risk is exponentially higher. Remember the hammock analogy. So how do you know if it is happening? This brings us to Chapter 2, the 60-minute symptoms. When do you grab your keys and rush to the emergency room? If a dog experiences GDV, every single minute counts. I'm going to give you 3 specific red flags. Red flag number 1, unproductive retching. This is the single biggest, most important warning sign of bloat. We all know what it sounds like when a dog throws up, but during a flipped stomach, the dog repeatedly gags, heaves, and tries to vomit violently, but nothing comes out. Maybe a string of thick white saliva or foam, but absolutely no food. Because the stomach is twisted shut, nothing can come up. If your dog tries to vomit 3 or 4 times in a row and nothing is coming up, you do not wait. You go to the vet immediately. Red flag number 2, severe abdominal discomfort and pacing. When the stomach is distended and twisting, the dog is in blinding agony. They cannot get comfortable. They will pace the room restlessly. They will pant heavily with wide, terrified eyes. They will drool excessively, and you will see frequent, obsessive lip smacking because they feel incredibly nauseous. Often, they will try to relieve the intense internal pressure by stretching. You will see them go into the prayer position, putting their front paws down on the floor and keeping their rear end high up in the air. If you see this unyielding restlessness combined with the prayer stretch after a meal, it is an absolute emergency. Red flag number 3, the drum-tight belly. As the gas becomes trapped, the abdomen visibly swells. The area just behind their rib cage will look bloated, distended, and rigid. If you take your finger and gently tap on the side of their tight belly, it will sound and feel hollow, almost exactly like you are tapping on the side of a tightly inflated basketball. If you feel that hard, basketball-like swelling, their stomach is dangerously full of gas. If you see unproductive retching, panicked pacing, or a drum-tight belly, do not log on to Google. Do not post in a Facebook group asking for advice. Put the dog in your car, call the emergency vet on the way so they can prep the surgery room, and drive. Now, let's take a deep breath. We know the nightmare, but how do we stop it from ever happening in the first place? To do that, we have to clear up years of terrible internet advice. Welcome to Chapter 3, Myths versus Facts. Advice on bloat has completely changed over the last 2 decades. Let's look at the actual clinical research and debunk the old myths that might secretly be putting your dog in danger. Myth number 1, ice water causes bloat. I hear this every single summer. People claim that giving a hot dog ice water causes the stomach muscles to spasm and flip. But the fact is, cold water does not cause stomach spasms. The temperature of the water is entirely irrelevant. The real danger is speed. Dogs that gulp down any temperature of water too quickly, especially right after a hot run or heavy exercise, swallow massive amounts of air along with the water. In the medical world, we call this aerophagia, literally eating air. That rapid inhalation of air is what blows the stomach up like a balloon, triggering the start of GDV. Ice cubes are fine, but chugging massive bowls of water is not. Next, myth number 2 is a big one, and it might shock you. The myth: elevated food bowls prevent bloat. For decades, pet stores, breeders, and even older veterinarians recommended buying expensive raised food stands for large breed dogs. We thought that elevating the bowl helped digestion and gravity. Fact: landmark veterinary studies have completely flipped this logic on its head. Clinical data has now proven that raised food bowls actually increase the risk of bloat. When a bowl is elevated, it changes the angle of the dog's neck and esophagus, which actually allows the dog to inhale their food at a faster speed, forcing them to swallow huge pockets of air. Ground-level feeding is now the absolute safety standard in veterinary medicine to prevent GDV. If you have an elevated feeder, unless it is specifically prescribed by a vet for a totally different neurological swallowing disorder, take the bowls out and put them flat on the floor today. Now let's talk about the hard facts that actually do cause bloat. Fact number 1, competitive eating and stress. If you have a multi-dog household and you feed them all in the same kitchen right next to each other, you are creating a high-stress environment. The dogs feel a primal anxiety that the other dog might steal their food. This creates a race-to-finish mentality. The faster they eat, the more air they vacuum into their stomach. Fact number 2, heavy exercise after meals. Imagine putting a heavy bowling ball inside a gym bag and then running and swinging that bag around. What happens? The momentum causes the bag to twist. If your dog eats a heavy meal or drinks a massive bowl of water and then immediately goes outside to run, twist, jump, and play fetch, that heavy full stomach becomes a pendulum. The physical swinging motion makes it incredibly easy for the stomach to literally flip over on itself. Fact number 3, diet structure. What is actually in the bowl matters. Feeding a dog only one massive giant meal a day stretches the stomach ligaments out. Furthermore, feeding a diet exclusively made of highly processed dry kibble, especially the kibbles that heavily list concentrated fats and oils within the first 4 ingredients, causes intense fermentation in the gut. Dry kibble requires a lot of water to break down, and as it digests, it produces rapid, excessive amounts of gas. All right, we have covered the anatomy, the terrifying symptoms, the myths, and the facts. It is time to take all this science and put the power directly back into your hands. Welcome to Chapter 4, the 7-step bloat prevention plan. These are the actionable daily steps you can implement right now to drastically lower your dog's risk. Step 1, ditch the raised bowls. Like we just talked about, take those expensive elevated bowls, put them away, and move their food bowls completely flat onto the ground. Make them eat at a natural downward angle so they physically cannot inhale the food as fast. Step 2, use a slow feeder bowl. If your dog inhales their meal in 30 seconds, you must slow them down. Throw away the standard open metal bowl and buy a slow feeder bowl. These have built-in silicone or plastic ridges and mazes inside them. It physically forces the dog to work around the maze and pick out small pieces of food, turning a 30-second vacuum session into a safe 10-minute mental game. Step 3, divide the meals. Stop feeding one massive heavy meal at dinner time. Change their feeding schedule to 2 or even 3 smaller meals spaced throughout the day. A lighter, smaller stomach is incredibly difficult to flip. Step 4, separate at mealtime. Stop the competitive eating anxiety. If you have multiple dogs, feed them in completely separate rooms or put them inside their own closed crates at dinner time. When a dog realizes nobody can see them or steal their food, they automatically drop their shoulders, relax, and eat at a much slower, safer pace. Step 5 is a veterinary secret. Upgrade the diet to forced chewing. Dogs who only eat tiny pebbles of dry kibble just swallow them whole, inhaling air. I want you to start incorporating large chunks of real dog-safe meat, like boiled chicken gizzards or large chunks of beef, into their meals. When you add a large chunk of meat, it physically forces the dog to actually use their teeth to chew and tear it apart. Now, a quick safety warning. If your dog is a notorious vacuum cleaner that gulps food down whole without thinking, do not give them massive slippery pieces that they could accidentally choke on. You want to cut the real meat into safe, manageable chunks that still require them to work and chew, or place the meat directly into their slow feeder so they can't swallow it in one bite. Chewing slows them down drastically, and more importantly, it stimulates healthy, heavy digestive saliva, which helps break down the food before it ferments into gas. Step 6. Manage post-meal downtime. This is absolutely non-negotiable. You must implement a strict rule in your house. Absolutely no vigorous exercise, no rolling around on their backs, no wrestling, and no chugging massive amounts of water for at least 1 full hour after eating a meal. Mealtime is followed immediately by enforced rest time. Step 7. Smart supplements. Consider adding a high-quality, pet-approved digestive enzyme powder to their daily bowl. Digestive enzymes help their stomach break down the complex starches and proteins in their kibble much faster, which drastically reduces the amount of gas buildup and fermentation happening in their gut. Now, I must give a medical warning here. Some internet blogs say to keep human Gas X or simethicone in your pet emergency kit for bloat. While it can relieve mild gas, if a stomach has physically flipped and twisted shut, Gas X cannot untwist an organ. Nothing you feed them can untwist it. A flipped stomach is a mechanical obstruction, and surgery is always required. Never try to treat true bloat with over-the-counter gas pills. All right, now we have reached our final chapter. Chapter 5, the ultimate medical shield. Even if you do everything perfectly right, large breeds with massive, deep chests simply have a physical, genetic predisposition to GDV. But modern veterinary medicine has given us a miracle. If you own a Great Dane, a standard poodle, or an Irish setter, I want you to talk to your local vet about a procedure called a prophylactic gastropexy. Prophylactic means preventative. A gastropexy is a highly routine preventative surgery where the veterinarian goes in and literally sutures or anchors the outer lining of the dog's stomach directly to the dog's abdominal wall. It tacks the stomach permanently in place. If a dog with a pexy builds up gas, their stomach will still bloat, yes, but because it is physically anchored to the abdominal wall, it is mechanically impossible for the stomach to twist and flip. The preventative gastropexy is the ultimate safety net. It takes the absolute worst, fatal midnight nightmare in the veterinary world and turns it into a highly manageable, non-fatal vet visit. If you have a deep-chested puppy, many vets will actually offer to do this exact surgery at the same time they do their routine spay or neuter operation. It saves lives, period. Pet parenting is not for the faint of heart. It requires vigilance, education, and deep, unconditional love. Taking 15 minutes to learn about the terrifying reality of GDV shows that you are an elite, dedicated protector of your best friend. By moving their bowls to the floor, breaking up their meals, enforcing quiet time after dinner, and knowing the symptoms of an unproductive retch, you are adding layers of impenetrable armor around your dog's life. So, has your dog ever had a scary moment with a swollen tummy? Or do you have a deep-chested breed that you worry about? Tell me your story in the comments below. I read every single one and I want to support you. If this masterclass brought you valuable, life-saving knowledge today, please gently hit that like button. It helps this warning reach millions of other dog owners who desperately need to know the 60-minute rule. Make sure you hit subscribe to join our family of educated pet parents. I am Dr. Tony Lee. Protect those food bowls tonight. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and I will see you all in the very next video. Thanks for watching.